Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my NHL 20 franchise mode here in the state of hockey. In the previous episode, we went head-to-head for the third straight year in the second round against the Chicago Blackhawks, but this year it was a lot easier. You know what? We had 2 straight games by 1 goal, but we swept them nonetheless. You know what? They had big stars. I would honestly say they were a better constructed team than the Anaheim Ducks. Their defense was weaker, but I would say Chicago just had those players on their team that scared me. Patrick Kane, Gustav Slychuk, Kirby Dack, Adam Boqvist. They had the goaltender who was quite solid in these first 2 games, but after that, it was our series. We scored a combined 13 goals in our last 2 games. Here in Chicago, we're in the Windy City. Let's party for a bit. Let's drink. I mean, whatever team we have to face, we'll play them in a few days. It doesn't even matter. We'll party for a little bit here in Chicago, fly back to Minnesota, and have a fun time. And we did. We're 8-2 in the playoffs. We've been good. First round, it was iffy. There were a lot of questions. Second round, we started distancing ourselves. You saw the best players on our team start to produce even better. You saw the players on this team that are questionable. We will get to that. I know I discussed the stats last round in the last episode because it was a relatively short video. But I thought, let's go over it again and give my analysis to start this episode because it all plays together. If something goes wrong in this episode, I can start blaming people, and you'll know why. I won't be like, this guy, I hate him so much. And you'll be like, what did he do, Owen? I didn't watch the last video. And why are you starting the playoffs here? Go all the way back to round 1. It's like a story, man. It's like chapters. Chapter 1, first round. Chapter 2, we beat Chicago. Chapter 3 has yet to be written. Cale Newmanen is tied for first on this team with points with Anthony Francis. Obviously, Anthony Francis will always be the best player on this team, but it is nice seeing another guy step up. 8 goals in 10 games. He had 16 in 25 last year. 16 and 25, which is so impressive. 16 and 25 in the postseason, winning a Stanley Cup. Coming out this year, he's halfway to what he had last year. He's having better points. He's a point-per-game guy. Over that, actually, shooting 20%. He's been impressive for us, and he needs to continue getting better. Anthony Francis, what more is there to say? There's a lot of guys on this team that I keep giving credit to. There's never like a new guy that shows up and is like, hey, I'm putting up the most points, because usually in the NHL you have teams here and there like Montreal. Thomas Tatar leads the team in points IRL this year. Last year was Domi. Every year it's a different guy like Gallagher. And then you have your teams like Connor McDavid, who's always leading the team in points, or Leon Draisaitl, or the Colorado Avalanche with Nathan McKinnon. I don't know what kind of spiral I'm going on, but Anthony Francis is always the pinnacle of this team. Same with Kaprizov, same with Pietrangelo. They are always going to be those guys. But it is nice to see we have a few other guys on this team that decide to, you know what, hey, we're here, we're going to help out. Like Louis Langweeder. The guy continues to impress. 6 goals in 9 games, and he continues to show why he's going to be that second-line left winger next year, especially. I think we signed him to an 8-year deal at a really solid contract. I want to say around $4 million, which I think he's going to be worth that, or I think he already is worth that kind of money. Shooting 25% in 9 games with 6 goals on 24 shots. Give this guy the puck more, he's going to score goals. Kaprizov is one of those guys, is one of those other guys that I'm like, what else is there to say? I keep talking about him. It's like my last franchise mode with Jeffrey Woodworth, Matthew Savoie, and Joshua Waugh, where I just kept talking about them, and I give them so much credit, and I'm at this point in this franchise mode where I give these guys so much credit, and I spend so much time on talking about them, and you know what they're made of, and they continue to impress. Kaprizov is one of those guys that continue to impress. He had his second best season in his career. Obviously, it's going to be hard to beat 73 goals in his rookie campaign. I doubt he'll ever do that. 2 game winners. He was good. And a guy that I needed to see step up After the first round, he had 3 points in 6 games. I'm like, this is not the guy to center our second line. And he comes out, 9 points in 10 games for the Minnesota Wild. 1 game winner, the OT game winner in game 1 of the second round against Chicago. He was big. He's quietly been a very, very impressive player for the Minnesota Wild in this postseason, and he needs to continue to do that. A guy that's kind of disappointed, Alexei Pietrangelo. He has 1 game winner. Yeah. That's pretty good. 3 goals. It's not bad. It could be better. He could be better. He has definitely been the weakest link on that first line so far. I'm not upset because we're winning games, but I think if we need to continue going far in this postseason, he has to step it up for us. Chris Griffin, he hasn't been bad. As a third liner, putting up half a point per game, that's over expectations for the third line, especially Chris Griffin. He's a younger guy, 23 years of age. We drafted him, I want to say, the 3rd round, right? He jumped up in overall quite quickly, which you rarely see. He was 82 overall at like 20 years of age, right? He stepped up into the NHL. He had a 21-goal campaign in his sophomore year. I like his play. Luke Kunin, we did demote him to the 4th line, but I don't think of it as a demotion. Demotion? That doesn't sound like a real word. Demotion. Yeah, it is a... Oh, that's weird. I don't like that. That's like moist or crevices or phlegm. Ugh. Those are words I hate. Luke Kunin, I thought of it as, hey, we're trying to balance out the line, send Adam Beckman under the 3rd line because Adam Beckman had better guys like Langweeder and Chris Griffin to deal with. And then Luke Kunin had to play with Mateos and Connor Dewar. So he settled down that 4th line. I thought, hey, might as well work. And it did. He settled down that 3rd line, or 4th line, actually. Mateos was okay. Dewar didn't have any points that round, but he's not a minus player, so you can't be too upset. Nils Hoglander, and we're going to talk about Gauthier and Zucker and Beckman. Beckman has put up 0 points, which is sad, but he's a plus guy. Zucker got hurt when he came back from injury, and he's out until late May, so he's not back for a very, very long time. Gauthier has been in 1 game, but we don't need him currently. Nils Hoglander. Nils Hoglander is definitely on the top of my list of guys going out of Minnesota at the end of this year, just because of cap reasons, and he's not giving me any reason to not trade him away. Like, if he had just a phenomenal postseason run, I'd be like, hey, maybe we hold on to him, find a different option, or try harder to keep him around. I know we're not playing him on the power play. Yes, I understand that, but in years past, he hasn't been that offensive guy. Even with the 99 overall offensive awareness, doesn't seem like he has that capability. 75 points. He had 72 points 2 seasons ago, or last season, which is really, really good. That's about where I think I wanted him at. 65 points is, nice, okay? But it looks like he's taking a dive for the worst, which is not great. It's not great to see that happen. But sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't work. We got him from Vancouver a long time ago for Jared Spurgeon. We got a first from Vancouver. Can't remember what that turned into. Probably something good. Sometimes it doesn't work. But he has not been good this postseason, and that's the worst part. Defense. Defense is always my favorite part about this team because we have our top 3 guys in Clark, Quinn Hughes, and Mironov. They were always going to be the most impressive guys on this team. Obviously, Brandt Clark. Thank God Detroit didn't pick him all those years ago. They picked Edo Iguchi instead. Say what you want to say. I think we got the better player. Brandt Clark was going to be the cornerstone of this defensive squad. It looks like he's going to be the replacement for Quinn Hughes, even though they're only 3 years apart, right? Maybe a future captain. You never know, right? Quinn Hughes is technically one of the older players on this team. I love Brandt Clark. I love his play. He's a great player. 1 power play goal. Big goal. Any goal matters in this postseason. Quinn Hughes, 0 goals, but 7 assists, man. Gotta love him. Last year, he had no goals as well. So he doesn't seem to score goals. He just passes the puck willy-nilly. And I love that. Matthew Dumba has quietly been really, really good for us. He's a plus player, 5 points in 10 games as a defenseman. Can't get much better than that. Marcus Mironov hasn't had the offense on his side yet, but he's been good defensively. I love him to death. He can do no wrong in my eyes. Maurice Potvin got his first ever postseason goal. 1 point. He's not a minus player, which is good. Same with Shillington. He doesn't have a goal, but he has 1 point, so that third pairing hasn't been the best, but they're not a liability. And the guy that I really don't want to talk about because I believe in voodoo, Jaden Weeman. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about him. You know what? I'm going to do it. But if we lose this series and we get demolished, I'm going to blame it all on myself because of voodoo. Jaden Weeman. He's 8-2 in the postseason. 9-16 and just about a 2.5 goals against. Those are solid numbers, but he needs to be better. You know, there were a lot of 1-goal games. I think we've had close to 6 1-goal games or something. Yeah, we've had 6 1-goal games, which is a lot of tight games. And we won the majority of those. So I have to give him credit where credit is due, even though he doesn't have the exact statistics I want him to have. We're winning games. So just keep it going. But now it's time to check out the Vegas Golden Knights. And I want to see how they got here to the Western Conference Finals. Obviously, let's talk about us first because I feel like it. Chicago Blackhawks. We faced 2 very resilient teams in the postseason so far. And I'm scared about Vegas because obviously I'm scared about every team. It does not matter in the simulation. So first round, we had a 3-0 series lead against the Anaheim Ducks. They pull 2 straight, force a Game 6, almost a Game 7, but we win that. Actually, Game 6, we won 4-2, and we also won the series 4-2. Chicago pulled the reverse sweep against Colorado, but we swept them. So 2 potential sweeps, we got 1, but we're here in the West. The Vegas Golden Knights swept the Winnipeg Jets in round number 1, and then they beat Connor McDavid's Oilers in 6. So that is impressive in its own right. They apparently know how to shut the best down. They were a really, really solid regular season team. 50, 26, and 6. Oh, so many sounds happening. That's awesome. Thank you for barking dog. I'm not even going to cut this out because I really don't feel like it. Thank you. No, just keep going. Yep, no. Awesome. Keep it going. I'm not even going to cut. I don't care. I'm not going to cut this out because I don't feel like it because I'm not professional. Vegas was the only other team in the league to have 50 wins. I don't think they were the second best team in the league. I want to say another team was because they got more OT losses and shootout losses. But Vegas is a good team. The only other team in the league this year to have 50 wins. So it is time to see what Vegas is made of. I'm assuming I know a few players on this team that they have, but I'm honestly not too sure. So, I see 2 names right away. So let's talk about it. William Karlsson was on the block not very long ago, and I was like, maybe we'll shoot something at him. Maybe. He was one of the decisions from like maybe Jack Hughes, maybe William Karlsson. He was one of those names. Great player for the Vegas Golden Knights, 86 points in 82 games. I want to say that's one of his best seasons in his career. Yep, one of his best. Actually, second best here. 2023 was his best. Great season for him. He's definitely one of their leaders. Then you have a created player in Alexander Roback, who 2022 draft, he was one of the best players there. Phenomenal guy. He's got 12 points in 10 games for them. And then, let's bring it all the way back to year number 1. The 2020 NHL entry draft, the Ottawa Senators had the chance to pick Alexis Lafreniere, but they picked Quinton Byfield. I don't know why. You could say, but they have Brady Tkachuk. Maybe they think, no, you don't ever pass on a franchise player ever. You make it work. You trade away whoever for a franchise player. You don't do that. You don't ever pass on a guy. I know Quinton Byfield was a high elite, but Alexis Lafreniere is a franchise-altering player. And you know what makes that even better? The year after they acquired Aatu Räty with the 2nd overall pick. And we pick Pietrangelo in that draft, so I think we got the better player. But Aatu Räty is definitely a force to be reckoned with. Those are 2 franchise-altering picks. IRL, I think they're going to be really good, especially Lafreniere, who's being compared to Sidney Crosby, and you don't throw that comparison around very, very often. They also have a Sam Bennett, who you can talk about. He might even be a bust IRL, 4th overall pick in 2014, 6 years ago. I mean, in this game, it's 12. but 6 years IRL. He's been playing with Calgary. I thought when he started he was really, really talented. I think he had a 4-goal game. I watched one of those games where he had 4 goals. He really hasn't come into his own yet, which sucks. He has a pedigree of a 4th overall pick. Sometimes it doesn't work out. He might be a bust, but he's had a renaissance here in Vegas. He went to Edmonton, then he went to Vegas. He's had solid seasons here in Vegas as their second-line center, so good for him. They also have Mark Stone, who might be the most underrated player in the NHL. I keep throwing that word around a lot, but I've seen a lot of players in this playoff so far where he might be the most underrated player in the NHL. People don't realize how impressive he is. I can't recall off bat what his stats are this year, but he's a beast. That is just a fact. Not the best seasons in 2026, not the best stats in this season in 2026, but he's coming to play. He's a big boy, 6'3", 220 pounds. Oh my God, I didn't even notice him. Oh my God. Third line, you have Radek Faksa, who I've had in previous franchise modes, a pretty good shutdown center. You have Alex Tuck, and then you have Eldon Horak. Vegas has had a really awesome time drafting. 2023 was the most stacked draft in NHL history, where we picked Anthony Francis, obviously. Eldon Horak is another game changer. So they have Alexis Lafreniere in the first-year draft. Second year, they get Aatu Räty. Third year, they get I think they got Evans. No, they got them in the same year. Oh my God. They have had a lot of really awesome drafting. I think they should do that IRL anyways. Just draft really, really solid. Yeah, Roback was their 2022 pick. So their first round picks have been Alexis Lafreniere, Aatu Räty, Roback, Eldon Horak, and Drew Evans. You have Charlie Coyle, and then you have Jake Virtanen. This is such a strong team. They're big guys I'm very, very scared of. Their placement in the lineup is very interesting. I know if I was their coach, I would definitely move things around to make sure the young guys were in a better position to succeed, especially Horak and Drew Evans. Drew Evans is actually a subscriber-created player, so if you're actually watching this video right now, leave a like, comment, say that you're watching if you are watching, but it's actually kind of funny. So this is a very, very strong, constructed forward core, so I'm hoping their defense isn't good. Defense, I've seen worse. Shea Theodore, fantastic, underrated NHL defenseman. I think he dealt with cancer recently, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's a solid guy. I think he went over to Vegas in the expansion draft because Anaheim traded them I don't know what it was. It was really, I don't know why Anaheim would do it. I remember a few years ago when Anaheim legitimately had the best defense in the NHL, and then they traded away a few guys, and everything kind of fell apart. Now they have, who do they have in their defensive core? Yeah, exactly. You can't name them. It's terrible. And then they have Rasmus Ristolainen, so they must have gone out, maybe free agency, and acquired him. So he played in Buffalo. Yeah, it must have been a free agency acquisition. Came over from Buffalo. I think he's a big, tough guy. I feel like whenever Montreal plays Buffalo, he scores a goal or two. So, I don't think he's a 91 overall rated guy IRL, but apparently he is in this game. Vegas, he's been good with Vegas, not going to lie. That's a great tandem. Then you have Julius Honka, and then you have Jason Parrish, who's a young prospect for them. Honka has had his fair share of, not controversy, but I think he's not playing with Dallas this year. I want to say that he didn't sign a contract and he's playing overseas, if I'm not mistaken. You have Jordan Schmaltz. You have Matthew Lachance, who's another young defenseman for the Vegas Golden Knights. That's a really solid defensive core. You only need 1, 2, or 3 really solid guys on your D core and a fantastic offensive core to punish other teams. And their goaltending. Their starting goaltender is Mackenzie Blackwood, but 84 overall, not bad. I've seen worse, and it doesn't really matter in this game what overall your goaltender is. If you have a solid defensive core, if you have a bomb friggin' forward core, you'll be fine. And there's scratched players. You have Chandler Stephenson, you have Jake Leschyshyn, and you have Peyton Krebs, who's scratched Fantastic prospect there. Jeez Louise. I'm not going to lie. I am very, very scared of this team. I get why they're here. I get why they could beat us. 150%. I understand that. We are the President's Trophy winning team. I understand why they won 50 games. I understand why they might struggle. I see a lot of them and us. I see a lot of similarities between us. We drafted really strong. They could have drafted maybe 1 or 2 defensemen in place of maybe Drew Evans. I'm not totally sure. They might have. I'm not sure. But they're here for a reason. They're trying to go for their franchise's first ever Stanley Cup. Game number 1, Western Conference Finals. We're trying to go back to the Stanley Cup Finals for the 3rd straight year against either New Jersey or Tampa Bay, but it's going to be a long 7-game series. Game number 1, home ice. Here we go. First period. 1-0. Kirill Kaprizov, captain on the board. 3:58 into the first period on Mackenzie Blackwood. Oh my God, 20 shots. Jeez Louise. We're out shooting them by 12. 20 shots in the first period. I've seen that done twice this postseason so far. Wish we had more goals on Mackenzie Blackwood, but he has been good. Second period. Okay, they tie the game pretty early, but Cale Newman on the power play, and we have 35 shots. Oh my God, this game is too close for comfort. There's not much more I can say. You need to win. You need to win this, Minnesota. Power play for Vegas. Kill it off. Oh my God, I hated that. It's too close. We've had so many shots. Score one. Score 1, Minnesota. My God, we're up to 40 shots. Jeez Louise, Minnesota. Hold on, please. Please don't do this to me. Please. Oh my God, 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 oh my God. And we win. A tight game, even though we demolished them in shots, outshooting them by more than double. Mackenzie Blackwood easily gets the first star. I mean, Jaden Weeman had a really, really strong game as well. But we hold on for the game number 1 victory, starting off this round just like we have done the previous 2 rounds, where we win the first 3 games. I want to say the first 3 games by 1 goal, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, game number 2. Can our offense come in clutch? Just like the last 2 games against Chicago, we scored 13 in 2. Our offense needs to step up. Do not falter, because you will get royally screwed. First period. Oh, that's rough. I'm not gonna lie. That is rough. Julia Honka, Roback, back-to-back. Anthony Francis makes it a 2-1 game. Roback scores a second, and Honka. Jesus. They just copy and pasted, and Vegas is up 4-1. Weeman, you should be pulled after that. What a rough game so far. Second period. Oh my God. Francis scores. Roback completes the hat trick. Tuck, Mironov, and Mateos. It's still a game. We have been bad. Frederick Anderson is in net. If only. Maybe they should have kept Weeman in net. Really rough game so far. Here we go. Third period. Here we go, boys. Come on. Shut it. Don't shut it down. Come on. Come on. Can we get a goal early? Power play for Vegas. We kill it off. We just need one quick one to make this a game. Power play for us. Minnesota. Come on. They kill it off. Power play for Vegas. It's only a matter of time. 6 minutes remaining. Quarter left. Come on, Minnesota. Can we get one Minnesota power play late? And they hold off, and they tie the series at 1 apiece. Roback with a hat trick. I am a little mad. I knew they were going to show up. It was only a matter of time. Our offense gets stunted, and we get kicked right in the butt in game number 2. It's tied up heading to the T-Mobile Arena. Game number 3. Here we frickin' go, boys. First period. 0-0. Vegas outshooting us 14-10. 0-0. Like I said before, where's our goal support? Legitimately, we scored 13-2 to end the Chicago series, and now we've scored not a lot. 5-2. God damn, I hate this game. Second period. Oh, it's 0-0. Come on, Minnesota. It's Mackenzie Blackwood. It's Mackenzie Blackwood. For the love of God. Mackenzie Blackwood. Mackenzie Blackwood. No pep talk for you, Minnesota. You need to win this one. Adam Beckman, I'll frickin' take it. Anybody on this team scored. I don't care. Anthony Francis on the power play. That is important. It has been a lackluster goal-scoring game, and I had to speak. William Karlsson, it's a game. Half the period remaining. Can we hold on? Please hold on. Minnesota, please. Minnesota, please. Minnesota. Connor Dewar with the late goal on Mackenzie Blackwood, and that should seal the game number 3 victory. Another game with 40 shots, and we only win by 2. Even with a solid game. So the 2 games that we won, we have not really gone out and dominated, but we've gotten the W. We're up 2-1 in the series, and actually New Jersey is up 3-0 against Tampa Bay. Oh, and New Jersey has so many awesome players on that team. I think they have Pasternak, they have Chistov. Oh, that would be a terrible series. I hate this game. But we're up 2-0 here in the T-Mobile Arena. This is game number 4. Here we go. Can we come out with a 3-1 series lead? Or they will tie it heading back to Minnesota. First period. 2-0. Louis Langweeder and Pietrangelo. One pretty early in the period and one very, very late. It's 2-0 Minnesota. Shots are in our favor by 5, 13-8. Good period. We need to have periods like this. Don't allow them to anything. Score a few. Good. Second period. Stone makes it a 2-1 game, but Luke Kunin scores 47 seconds remaining in the second period. Shots are pretty low, 20-16. Blackwood's been good. You know, the goals that we get on him, they're like probably really, really iffy goals. Here we go. Third period. Come on, boys. Slow it down. Power play early for Vegas. Come on, kill it off. There we go. We killed off a big power play. Who the hell is taking penalties early in the third period? Who do I have to smite? I will do it. Don't tempt me, boys. Minnesota. Power play. Come on, Minnesota. Come on. That would have been a big goal late. Come on. 2 minutes. Come on. Just hold on. And we do. A 3-1 victory to make the series 3-1. Back-to-back 3-1 victories. We're getting the W's when we need it the most. It's not like we're not blowing leads. Knock on wood. We're also not blowing them out of the water, but we're getting a victory. Tampa Bay makes it 3-1 in their series. They still have a fighting chance. One more victory, and we are heading back to the Stanley Cup Finals for the 3rd straight year. We are the best team in the West. Let's make sure Vegas knows that. Game number 5 on home ice. Let's party in Minnesota. First period. 1-0. Chris Griffin, sophomore season, gets it done halfway through the first period. We're almost doubling them in shots, 16-9. Oh my God, Mackenzie Blackwood is doing everything he can for Vegas. Second period. Yes! 2 straight power play goals for the Minnesota Wild. Anthony Francis on the power play, as I just said. Pietrangelo making it 3-0 late into the second period. They only have 14 shots. Minnesota has 29. 20 minutes. 20 minutes. That's all you need to do, Minnesota. Hold on for 20 freaking minutes. Power play early for Vegas, and we kill that one off early. Jack Hughes with the potential dagger. Jack freaking Hughes. He doesn't score much in the postseason, but when he does, it's important. 4-0 Minnesota. 5 minutes remaining. Cale Newman pots a late one, and it's not going to matter for Vegas. Anything you do, it's not going to be enough. And the Minnesota Wild are heading back to the Stanley Cup Finals. Quinn Hughes with a fantastic performance. Jaden Weeman with a shutout. 3 fantastic games in a row for Jaden Weeman after getting stopped in game number 2. And the Minnesota Wild are heading back to the Stanley Cup Finals. But against who? That is the question. Tampa Bay is trying to reverse sweep the New Jersey Devils, but it looks like we will be playing Jack Hughes' former team in the New Jersey Devils. Thank you very much. If you've enjoyed this one, please leave a like, leave a comment, share with people who you think may enjoy this sort of thing. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.